Built for More podcast, Denny Thompson, Pastor Joby Martin, Devin Lloyd. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
You got to be great.
Yeah, I'm blessed. I can't complain at all.
Well, this is going to come out next week, but just to set the table for everybody, 12 hours ago, 15 hours ago, you found out that you're going to be a Carolina Panther. Is that right?
Yeah, literally 12 hours ago, just, waited and pretty much all day, just, kind of navigating, find out where I was going to be. And, it popped up late yesterday. And, yeah, the news broke.
I mean, amazing time. I'm not going to call it a career because it was like 4 years you were in Jacksonville. Amazing season, but amazing time in Jacksonville. I know Jacksonville is going to hate to lose you. Joby's already said.
Hate it.
But it's the way of the NFL.
Pumped for you, though, man. Pumped for you. Met you a couple times and doing Bible studies for the Jags. You were always there. You're my 20-year-old son's favorite player. It's not even close.
Yeah.
So he's going to be devastated. That's fine.
Walk us through the emotions of this free agency thing, man. Because very few people get to experience this, right?
Yeah. So for me, it was a roller coaster. The position I play isn't favorable in the free agent market, especially, this year. And as the years progress, just, getting what we kind of view as our full value. But it was a roller coaster of emotions. Pretty much, it started off early yesterday and, I was on a flight coming back from Germany. And so, I didn't even keep up with everything that was going on until, around like noon Eastern time. So, I get off my flight and I see everything that's going on, all the transactions. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'm talking to my agent, just trying to figure out, what's going on. And, they're basically just, trying to see what's going on with other teams and the interest. So it was a roller coaster of emotions. I pretty much had to wait all day just to really, get to a location where I felt is right. Ultimately, I was just grateful and blessed to be somewhere where, they value me and, they're excited about, what I can bring to the team. And, you wish it was with the Jags. I have so much love and appreciation for so many, people in the organization, the fans. I'm so grateful for all the people that supported me the whole way. It's tough to leave, but at the same time, I'm excited. I'm really, like I said, grateful and blessed for the Panthers, for their belief in me, the GM, head coach, players reaching out to me and, excited. I'm just excited to get things going. I know you got the Jags hat on and we were talking. And
That's a good hat, though, isn't it?
It is a good hat. It is a good hat.
Yeah, man, it's my hometown. If I lived in Charlotte, I'd be pumped you were coming. Bro, the city loves you, man. I mean, especially this year. When you 99-yard touchdown, tell me about that play.
Yes.
We were there. We're in the stands. We got tired cheering because it took so long. I mean, seriously, like, you can see it developing.
Yeah.
You're like, because we think they're going to score. We pick the we, like I had something to do with it, but I'm a part of the we.
Yeah.
You pick it off and start going, and I mean, seriously, it was like jumping off a building too high. You're like, bro, we were losing our mind.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me about that play.
That crowd was electric. That atmosphere is why you play the game, and to make plays in atmospheres and games like that is why you play the game. That was obviously a special play. I'm just thankful that we were able to come out with the win. I think the whole team performed really well, and we found a way to win. For me, in my perspective, in that play, it was a long drive. We were backed up, and that was a chance for either Kansas City to go up or for us to get off the field and make a play and get off the field. And so, our back was against the wall, and somebody had to step up. And we've had players all across the defense, make big plays. And that was my opportunity to make a big play. So, it was really just capitalizing when the ball's in the air. They always talk about being special when the ball's in your hands. So trying to find a way to get extra yardage. And Josh helped me with a big block on somebody who was trying to chase me down. He ran like a 4.2. So, that was a big block. Dwayne Smoot, he was just hauling. Even underrated block too, Eric Armstead. He got enough of the running back just to slow him down so I could get extension off of him. But, whenever you run 99 yards and You got off the ball linebacker that runs a 4.6. It's going to be a team effort. So, we made it happen.
But that's like backyard dream, like Monday Night Football, right? Is Monday Night Football Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, against Mahomes. That had to be even better.
Yeah.
Was it a no-look? Did he no-look it to you?
Well, you see him pre-snap, it's pretty much 7-up, 8-up look. And so he's thinking zero. And so he, checks the play. He actually gets the offense into the right play. And we hadn't shown up to that point. The middle guy is dropping out. And so he thinks, okay, it's zero. Everybody's locked up on their man. He calls the right play. And he basically line drives it. And so, he doesn't see me. And he's a great player. I mean, a future Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. Got so much respect for his game. But yeah, I mean, to make that play against a great player.
Great defensive call,
awesome.
too. Like, goal line, cover zero's the look, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little risky because they run the ball. You may be stuck.
Yeah.
But, like, that, what a great defensive call, too. I didn't realize that
famine.
It happened.
Yeah, if they ran the ball, that might have been to the offense's advantage. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, we hadn't shown that play before, so it ended up working.
And y'all played a lot of zero and goal line, so it was very believable.
Yeah, I mean, the week before, or it was the week or 2 weeks before, we had shown a zero look.
Yep.
And
sorry,
everybody
out on this part, man.
Please,
This
yeah,
is not what this podcast is
It's
about.
so
But
funny.
I can nerd
I'm
out.
a pastor. He trains quarterbacks. I always want to ask football questions, and he always wants to talk about Jesus. That's how this thing goes every time. All right, so when did you realize? All right, so first of all, you picked the ball off.
Yeah.
Did you see it coming? Did you you saw the ball in the air where you were like, this is it?
Yeah.
I'm in the lane. That's mine.
Yep.
And then you're just thinking, let me just get 5 yards. Oh my gosh, 10 yards. I'm at midfield. Is that, what's going on?
So the thing is, when you get the ball as a defender, you hardly ever have the ball. So every time you get the ball, it's okay, I got to score.
Yeah. Let's go.
Every time you touch the ball, it's like, I got to score. I got to get in the end zone. So that was my mindset. As soon as I had the ball, it was just a different level of urgency where it's like, okay, I got to make something happen. I got to get to the end zone.
Did you ever play running back or anything in high school?
I played receiver.
Of course you did.
All right, getting off football for a second. Devin, tell us kind of about like your upbringing. When did you get into football? How were you raised around football? Things like that.
Yeah, so football really started for me in middle school. My parents would always host Super Bowl parties when I was younger, and for me, that was just another opportunity to eat good food. I didn't really even watch football growing up. I didn't like football. I thought it was too complicated. I really didn't start playing until middle school. At lunch, actually, I would play receiver, and pretty much they would just throw the ball up to me, and I would just moss everybody. And that's pretty much where my love for the game started. And progressively, as I started playing at lunch every day, started to get more and more competitive. I was like, okay, this is fun. Like, I want to go, get the pads on and play padded football. So I played 8-on-8 my 8th grade year, and this is in California.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it first started for me as far as just playing with pads on, getting that experience, and eventually that transition to me playing high school.
So you didn't play pads until 8th grade?
8th grade.
And not 11-on-11 until high school?
Until high school.
Was 8?
Hold on, all the parents out there freaking out that your kid's behind.
Well, I love this.
Me too. And they're in your boy's in the 4th grade or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't start my son in padded practice or in padded football until his 8th grade year. Unfortunately, his first padded practice, he tore his ACL. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Insane this year.
That.
Yeah, crazy. But I like that approach, right? Not the ACL, but
sure,
until a little bit later.
Hey, shout out to JDL here in Jacksonville Developmental League.
Yeah.
Man, it's a football league that it's down in Ponte Vedra and then over at Providence. And my son, he played free safety at Providence, graduated 2 years ago. Probably, I don't know, 15 of the 22 starters grew up in JDL, and here's what's great about it. You play every position. It's padded for sure. It's just regular football, but you play every position throughout the year. The first few weeks, it's just all evaluation, and based on age, size, and then the coach kind of gives you an A, B, or C. It's basically just an inter-squad game every Saturday. And you're matched up against another kid that's comparable. So you don't just get out there and get dominated, or if you're dominating, we'll switch it all up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But every kid gets to be quarterback at least 1 week. Every kid gets to be running back at least 2 weeks. So it's not like all the thick kids just got to play guard in Pee Wee, and all the little skinny guys just stand out at receiver. Nobody ever throws.
Yeah, but
the ball.
how big were you in 8th grade?
In 8th grade,
Yeah.
I was always tall. Probably in 8th grade, I mean, at least 6'1".
Yeah, who you gonna match this joke?
Yeah, but all you do, you put him way back at free safety.
Yeah.
When you put your next best player as the running back.
Oh, gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what it.
Devin's gonna say it like
Right.
bro. Good luck.
Yeah.
But it was great,
You
dude.
played some safety, didn't you? Did you? Play
Yeah,
some
so that was the first position on defense I played, and that was my senior year in high school.
safety? Yeah.
Up until then, I was exclusively a receiver.
Yeah. Did you just kind of grow out of the safety into linebacker, or did you just like linebacker? Is that
I had some offers at safety, but my biggest offer was from Utah. That was my only Power 5 offer, and that was at linebacker.
okay?
And I had another offer from Boise, which was my next biggest at outside linebacker. I had some Mountain West offers at safety. I had some other Mountain West offers at receiver. For me, it was, okay, Utah's my biggest offer. It's the best school. My play style and the way I play the game, it translates to playing the linebacker position. So that's what I went with.
When did you recognize like play style and things like that? When did that become a thing? When did you say, okay? Joby asked it, like, when did you know?
Yeah, when did you know, bro? At what point? Well, it could have been, I mean, your senior year, did you realize, I think I'm going to get drafted in the NFL?
I think in high school, it was always what's next. So
Mhm.
it was getting to college. And I'd say probably my second year, sophomore year in college is when I really committed to taking ball serious. And I was like, basically committed to being the best that I could be. And that's when I made my mind up, like, okay, like, I'm going to make it to the NFL.
Do you see other guys that have the athletic ability, they just can't commit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a real thing. And, commitment looks different for everybody. Some people it's an obsession, some people it's the bare minimum. It just depends on, that's case by case. But you definitely see, people who are freakishly athletic, some people who are more athletic than others. And like I said, commitment looks different to everybody. So it may be commitment to them, but the way I see it, if it's not obsessive, then, how committed are you really? So it just depends. But I wouldn't say that anybody, really that I've been around that is super athletic just doesn't respect the game and just goes out there and, doesn't work hard or doesn't understand the value of working hard.
That's interesting because one of the questions I get a lot is at a young age, what's important for kids to have as a quarterback, because I work with quarterbacks. But it's probably very similar to your position, right? Because you're calling the defense. I think there has to, at least, if it's not an obsession, there has to be a curiosity about the game of football, about the whys behind football. Like, why is the offense doing this? Why is this happening? Why does Tom Brady play it this way? Why does Aaron Rodgers play it this way? I believe that to be true. Maybe not an obsession, but we talk about it all the time that God gives us thoughts that kind of shape who we are and what we're going to do, right? And your thoughts are unique to yourself and your dreams are unique to yourself. And I believe that to be true in football as well. I believe if you have a kid that is very curious about X's and O's and improving his body and improving mechanics and all that kind of stuff, then you probably have a kid that's got a chance at this thing. But if you have a kid that's just overly athletic and maybe hit puberty before everybody else, but he's not curious, like, I don't know. This game's so hard. You know this better than I do or anybody else does. Like, it's so hard. You have to have that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just is an expression of your love for the game. How much does the game mean to you at the end of the day? Because if it means a lot, then you'll be curious. You'll want to know more. You'll want to learn more and ultimately better yourself as a player and understand how to take yourself to that next level and constantly have it on your mind of the history of the game, who did it before you and how you can improve every day.
What was the thing that you feel like really separated you? Or there's a different way to answer this, ask this, maybe like, what did you learn that you had to do to be a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker that other people maybe aren't doing?
Yeah, one of the biggest things is nutrition, making sure you're eating the right things, putting the right things in your body, because everything matters. Nutrition, sleep, it's just all the little things that kind of separate you. And obviously, last year I had a great year, and the year before, I definitely, took a step forward from my previous years to last year, and it was really just the culmination of all the little things. Like I said, consistency in your process, your routine, waking up early, taking care of your body, eating the right things, getting the right amount of sleep. Obviously, for me, like the film, I always hammered the film, I always hammered the weight room. It was all the little stuff that separated me. So
that's interesting.
How many interceptions do you have this year?
This year was 5.
As a linebacker.
So talk about that. It can't just be luck. Talk to me. Why do you think you blew up on taking the ball away this year?
Putting myself in the right position, God's grace, really just, it's everything that you do, the process, I believe it's the process that gives you that grace by putting yourself in the right position, film study, confidence, belief in yourself on the field. I think it all plays a part in you being in the right spot, having the athleticism to make the plays, because I would say, large majority of them were not easy plays. They didn't come right to me. You got to take them. So you got to have the athleticism, but that comes from being well-rested, being nourished, and having the strength to make those plays late in the game, any time of the game, really. And then, like I said, grace, being in the right spot, ball coming to you, and ultimately able to capitalize on the plays.
Do you practice catching?
Yeah, I do. Before every game, I throw with Kevin Wilkins. He was our assistant linebackers coach. So, yeah, we basically just play catch for like 10, 15 minutes. I catch on the jugs at least like once a week, sometimes twice a week. So my hands are I'm always working on my hands. I think playing catch it's fun for me, one, but two, it warms my hands up too. Right. So, I'm ready for those opportunities, and it gives me that confidence like any ball that comes my way is mine. So I believe that, and all I needed to do is be in my vicinity, and I'm gonna go take it.
Because I think I mean, I don't know anything, but it seems to me like too many guys are okay with a pass breakup when they could get two hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they settle for a good play instead of making the great play.
Right.
Because it's such a difference, like our ball versus just the PBU.
Oh, well, I mean, just think about if you knock down the 99-yarder instead of catch it.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
I mean, that may change a whole season.
That second down, I believe they still would have had another.
Yeah.
down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't third, so they had another down.
Yeah.
They wanted to go for it from forward. So, yeah.
I mean, that literally could change an entire season.
Dude,
that play generated so much momentum for the Jags moving forward, and for you, I believe, as well, right? Like, it's a great point, Joby. Yeah,
because everybody in the stands is like, "Oh my gosh, we're beating Patrick Mahomes." I mean, that's the,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have the best luck against him before, so that was a big game for Jacksonville.
Not many have.
Big time.
Not many have. I'm curious about kind of the headspace you have to put yourself in, going into a game, because you play what is maybe the most barbaric position in all of sports. I mean, it is collision after collision after collision. Where do you have to take yourself in order to walk into 60 minutes of that?
Yeah, definitely a dark place, a violent place, somewhere where you kind of reminisce and let all the pain fuel you. You remember all the pain in your life, all the trauma in your life, but also a place of calm and peace. I know it's contradictory, but you have to have a steady, clear mind. You have to have peace in your mind. You pretty much cancel everything outside of you in that field and the opponents in front of you and the players on the field, your teammates, your brothers, everything else. None of that matters. So it's a place of calm, but it's also a place of violence and just precision. It's clarity in your vision. I mean, yeah.
I want to know this. Has there been a guy that you played, had a lot of hype, receiver, quarterback, running back, tight end, whatever, and you hit him and you're like, what's the hype about? Like, that ain't all that.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, yeah.
I won't ask you for a name there because I know everybody's, you'll end up on the same team at some point. So what about the other way? What about a dude that you hit and you're like, uh-oh, this is going to be a long game? Do you have anybody comes to mind, or were you were always bringing it?
I've never felt threatened. No.
Well, I see. I'm so interested in the mental aspect of preparing for a game, because you can talk to somebody, and I do this. This is my job. Like, I get to know these guys really, really well, and then the night before a game, you're having what you think is a normal conversation, and somebody comes up and they're like, "Oh, I hate that dude." I'm like, "What? Like that's the nicest guy? Like that's the nicest guy I ever met." But bro, in their mind, that dude just broke into their house, and they got to do something about it. Like it is insane the motivation that these guys can find in every single little thing. When do you kind of come out of that? Is it as soon as the game ends? Does it take you a minute after the game? What's your post-game ritual almost?
It's easier to come out of it after a win.
Yeah.
So after a loss, it'll be a little tougher.
Mm-hmm.
You might carry that until the next day or two or whatever. After a win, yes, you snap out of it pretty quick. But yeah, that's what it takes. Everybody's different, but you got to find that edge. You got to find that dark place. You got to get in that space where the person in front of you, yeah, you're not friends. You're far from it. That's your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it takes. But normally, you carry that all throughout the game until it's over with, and it's like, okay, the battle's done. So no longer have to carry that until we see them next time.
It's funny, we know a bunch of players, but when I do the chapels, it's on Saturday night. It's like at 8:00. I mean, it's late on Saturday night. And they've just come out of some position meeting or something,
Right.
And
it wasn't a chapel.
Right. And normally my style is like to loosen everybody up. And it did not take me long to be like, that's not what we do here.
Yep.
We just teach the Bible. We point right at it, pray hard, and then let's go. And guys will come up and say, hey, but you can completely tell. It's not the same, but I get it. My wife is like, because, I preach on Sunday morning. That's my game time. As the sun goes down on Saturday night, she says she can watch me going down with it. Like I don't do anything on Saturday night. I don't go anywhere. I'm not a good person to talk to because I got to get my mind right for what I'm about to do. You know what I mean? You can completely see it.
Yeah. So one of my favorite things is when you're around these guys right before a kickoff and you look at them and you see they're looking through you, not at you.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like that, just that mental place of getting locked in and being in what some people call the zone. I don't know what it is, but it's just fascinating to me.
Yeah,
sure.
That's one of the most special parts of the game too, because you really don't experience that in everyday life. Like my off season, that really doesn't happen. Like you compete, but it's different, especially at my position when you're really getting ready to physically impose your will on somebody. You have to be in the right headspace for that.
I love that. That's my favorite part of it.
Well, I think your average fan just doesn't even think about that part of it. They just think about the physicality of it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize what it takes mentally. Because Liam invites us to practice. We'll go to practice, and then after practice, everybody runs over and is high-fiving, like, what's up, Pat? Just kind of hanging.
Yeah.
But it's very different on a Tuesday in August than it is Saturday night in October.
I don't think the average fan understands. They understand the physicality, but they don't understand the violence.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
you don't, even though, dude, I watch as much football as a human being can watch. I watch the high school games when they're on, whatever, whoever plays whoever. I watch that. I watch every college game. And then I go to every home Jags game and watch NFL all day. Okay. And yet, when you stand on the field and see it versus sit on your couch and see it, and you think, if you tackled me, man, I would have to go to the hospital.
Just bury me right there. I was on the field way back in the day when Donovan Darius and Jerome Bettis hit right on the sideline at a first down marker. And I was 10 feet, no, probably further than that, 20 feet away from it, and my bones hurt.
The sounds, the speed.
Yeah, I feel all of it too.
I've talked to quarterbacks, and I've asked them, what does it feel like? And they're like, you get used to it, but you feel parts of your body inside move that probably shouldn't move. Oof. Yeah, he loves that.
That's why you play it, especially my position. That's why you play the game,
Yeah.
Not to hurt anybody, but to, like I said, impose your will. That's part of why you love playing the game, especially at my position.
Are you a just football junkie? Are you like Joby? Do you watch anytime it's on? Do you watch it, or has it become more of a job for you?
Oh no, I love it. I'm a fan of football. All levels. I love the game. I love NFL, UFL, college, high school. All levels of the game. I love it. So yeah, I would consider myself a football junkie. I love other sports too. Basketball. I have some hobbies. I'm into like fitness, lifestyle. just things of that nature. But yeah, I love the game, and I don't know what I would do without it, to be honest.
What are your, like, as you're getting ready to go to a new team up in Charlotte, kind of what are your thoughts about not the excitement level, but you're going to have to go in and kind of introduce yourself to a new locker room. You probably know a bunch of the guys just throughout, right? But you're the leader on the defense, like, and you can't. I guess sometimes it's hard to just walk in and go, "Hey, I'm the leader. I'm here." What are the ways that you find yourself leading in a new environment like that? Like, you have a plan, or is it just a natural thing? Or?
Yeah, I would say with that, it's just going in and being myself, being completely authentic, building trust over time. I'm not, looking to do anything special. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm literally just gonna go in and be my authentic self and hope that's enough for the guys to trust me and so I can lead the way I lead.
How do you lead? How do you lead? How would you classify yourself? Are you like a verbal leader? Or are you?
Yeah, it's been an evolution. I mean, I go back to college, and it was that verbal leader, that leader by example. Really pushing the young guys to get extra work. Really, everybody. Really the whole team to be their best. And then you go to the league, and you're around so many vets. And so for me, it was learning. It was being the student before the teacher, just understanding how to lead the right way, kind of finding my own voice, and really just being a player on the field first, and then the evolution of that throughout Jacksonville. Then it became more vocal. It became, leading huddles, obviously on the field, doing what I do, but just progressively finding my voice. And, now the next step of my career going to Carolina is definitely going to be more vocal early on, just trying to make my presence felt throughout the locker room. And obviously I know I'm going to have a say in the team. So just trying to help them understand where I come from and, my love for the game, my passion for the game. And, they're going to get everything out of me. And, I hope that that's enough to earn their trust.
Yeah, I have so many questions for Devin, because we have I have a very good friend of mine. Well, we share a financial guy, right? Like, and he's an awesome dude and become one of my closest friends. And so I've been paying attention to you through him for a couple of years and your evolution ever since. I mean, you were drafted first round here, correct? Like pick 27?
27,
yeah. Look at that. But everybody knew you were that guy as a linebacker. You were projected as a star linebacker, but there's been an evolution of you as a football player in the NFL, right? Like, I feel like I've seen it just on TV. Can you kind of talk about coming into the NFL, what you were, and kind of now after year 4, what
yeah, it's great to have your best year, your most recent year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Because you see some guys come in and make a splash, then you're like, where'd that guy go?
Yeah.
You've been the other way. It's been getting better, and then boom.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, coming in, I think the biggest thing coming in is you don't know what you don't know. You got to learn a lot. And obviously, I was ultra confident. The biggest thing, and really the evolution of my game, is just the process, just understanding how to attack the process, because the season's so long. My rookie year, I start off hot, and then there becomes a point where your body's fatigued, your body starts breaking down. You go through, so many different little nicks here and there that build up over time, and you can't play as strong, you can't play as fast, you can't play as physical, and that's what my job requires, is to play strong, fast, physical, play smart, all the above. And so, going into year 2, it's like, okay, what do I got to do to make sure that I'm healthy and strong and building strength throughout the year? And that's always been my thing. It's like, okay, get an extra lift in, make sure that the sleep is right. And you just progressively learn more and more to the point where, okay, now I have the right foundation. I know what it takes to be ready to go to play at my best every Sunday, but also mentally be in a space where, like, I want to give this game everything I have every week,
Because of your position, you got to do it all. I mean, you might rush quarterback against a left tackle, or you might cover a receiver or stop the running back. I mean, that's everything.
Bro,
right?
that's when the play starts. Before the play starts, you got to get everybody lined up.
Yeah, that's very true.
I mean, what happens when the play starts is the easy part.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're just reacting. You already have an idea of what goes on, and now it's just flying to the ball. But yeah, I mean, everything, linebacker, quarterback, and really just all the great players in the league, no matter the position, it all happens pre-snap.
Yeah, the NFL game is played so much pre-snap,
Mm-hmm.
so much. A lot of times when you see an interception, it is the right pre-snap read. That defender just kind of fooled him into something or made a heck of a play. Like, I mean, if you talk to most quarterbacks and you pause that film right before the snap, they'll tell you where they're going.
Right.
Right. I mean, there's a progression, but they're so good they know most of the time.
Mm.
Right. And they know that they know. That's the great thing about football. It's like the defense comes out and they're in whatever they're in. They know the weakness of what they're in.
Right.
It's not like you're fooling them like, oh, they're in quarters, we're going to sneak this. It is such a game of intelligence that I think that's the thing that when you get into it that most people don't realize is what happens before that play is everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why team defense is so vital too. We say 11 as one. It's making sure, okay, the safeties and the linebackers are all in accord. So, hey, if we want to show this look and then rotate last second, show the quarterback a different picture so that'll put us more in an advantageous position to stop the run or to make a play on the ball in the air. Just playing together is the most important thing.
See, I've gotten to where I look at my walk with God in that same way, in that exact same way. It's about preparation, right? It's preparing. But then, like, the mistakes are the times that you learn and you figure out what grace is and forgiveness is, just like, a good coach. Like, if you make a mistake, that guy's going to pull you aside and say, okay, I'm glad you made that. Now let's make sure we don't do that again, or let's learn from it. I have used so much from what I've learned or being around football and the discipline that it takes and just the simplicity of you're going to make mistakes and there's another down coming and there's 80,000 people watching you and you got to fix that mistake because they're going to keep going to it until you fix it.
No doubt.
Right? And it's no different with me than like the devil keeps going to my mistakes. Right? And until I learn how to fix those things and until I learn the whys behind those things, I just continue to make them. Right. And that's the thing. That's the correlation I've learned from training quarterbacks to my walk with God is you have to, yes, you don't beat yourself up about the mistakes, but you have to do something about them.
Well, I've never heard the 11 is one, but it reminds me, we were talking about Jeff Kopp before we started recording. He played linebacker here for the Jags. At one point, though, he was playing for Pete Carroll. And they were in the locker room, and Pete Carroll says, I quoted this 10,000 times at this church. The 3 most dangerous words a man can say is, I got this. And he was talking about linebacker fit. You can't just be like, I don't care what we're doing. I'm going to go make the play, right? And you ain't got this by yourself, And so the beginning of the gospel is you ain't got this. The beginning of the gospel is I need somebody to do for me what I cannot do for myself. I'm a sinner in need of a Savior. And then even after you get saved, you're not supposed to do this thing alone. You're supposed to surround yourself with a band of brothers, some mat carriers, some guys that are going to help you along, point out your blind spots. When you get knocked down, help pick you back up. And then you got to be able to do that for some other guys.
Absolutely.
And I learned that from a linebacker in the NFL.
Wow.
We preach it all the time.
Can you kind of walk us through your faith and where you stand with that? And is that important to you?
Absolutely, yeah. My faith is everything. So I grew up going to church. My mom, took me to church when I was younger. She had me all dressed up, and I lived with my mom up until I was 12. I moved to live with my dad in California when I was 12, and we went to church here and there from there, but not as much. And still believers, still knowing God. And for me, it really came to having a relationship with God. My rookie year, when I was going through a lot of things, I'd say up until that point, football was essentially my identity. I idolized football, and I let it, in a way, be my identity up until the point when it was stripped from me. So I went through an injury when I first got here. I pulled my hamstring, and I missed all the training camp, and that was a turning point for me because I was a high draft pick, a lot of expectations, had a good OTAs. I was ready to go to training camp and put in the work to ball out, and the game was taken away from me. And for me, I was kind of lost at that point, and I turned to God, and I pretty much just gave him my everything. And ever since then, it's just, my relationship with him, my devotion to him has just been just every day, just continuing to grow to the point right now where, I have a great relationship with him. And he's everything. He's done so much for me. He's been faithful with me, and man, he's loved me through it all. I'm just so grateful for my relationship and the grace and mercy he's shown me. I'm at a point now where I'm truly, living for Christ, and I'm discerned in a way where, he helps me see things a lot more clearly than ever before, and obviously continuing to grow every day in the Word and know more about Christ. But what he's done for me from all the way back, even my rookie year and back further to when, just immature high schooler, all the way up until this point, you can definitely, be grateful for the grace that he's shown.
I think one of the big misperceptions, especially against highly talented, successful guys like you, whether it's in athletics or in business or whatever, there's a bunch of guys that think, all right, if I become a Christian, if I follow after Jesus, I'm going to have to give up so much. What they don't realize is it's the most free you will ever be. Because when you realize that you have your Creator's approval, and I love how many times you just said relationship, because that's it. Now you're free. Like, God came up with the idea of Devin Lloyd. He fit you together. Now, you had to work hard, but he gave you the potential that you have.
Absolutely.
Now, when you know that you have his approval, bro, you can get on that field and be like, all right, Lord, watch this. Mm-hmm. Like, the coach's opinion is not the primary opinion that I'm trying to seek after. The fans' approval is not the most important thing in my life. One of the things, because there's a bit of a, I'm not performing when I preach, but I got to get on stage in front of all these people and do the thing that I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I always go back to when Jesus got baptized. He walks into the Jordan. His cousin John the Baptist just says, "Behold the Lamb who takes away the sin of the world." He baptizes him. The heavens open up. God the Father speaks out loud and says this, "Behold my Son in whom I am well pleased." And Jesus hasn't done anything he was assigned to do yet. He hadn't preached, hadn't done a miracle. The kickoff has not yet happened in his public ministry. And before anything happens, God says, "That's my boy. I'm really proud." And I have to remind myself, like, even if whether I do a good job or I don't do a good job, I have the approval of the Father. What that lets me do is swing for the fences, man. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And the amount of NFL players that I've talked to that feel the freedom because they know that relationship with Christ is most important, and they're playing from a place of approval. And if anybody, bro, you're like in this hyper microwave microcosm of approval. I mean, bro, how many? There's not entire sports. I mean, there's not entire networks dedicated to just sitting around and picking apart my sermon every week. I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's not tens of thousands of fans, hundreds of millions of fans out there that just want to critique every little thing you do. I mean, you can let that get to you, and it could be overwhelming. Absolutely. Even when you had the best year of your life, right? But when you know you have the approval of the Heavenly Father, then you're free to, like, really run free out there.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit on the head. It's freedom, and it's clarity and understanding that God's opinion is the only opinion that matters. And, that set me free. And I think that was a big step in my development as well, is understanding that his voice and his opinion is the only thing that matters. Only thing. And so, that just brings so much peace and clarity to my mind, to the point where you can be fearless. You can go out and do what you do at the best level that you can do it. Because, okay, if you fail, then you get right back up. And if you have success, okay, find a way to do it again, even better. That just brings so much peace and clarity. And then it also, for me, is gratitude. I understand that work is a gift. The opportunity that I have is a gift. And, it just helps me to see clearly, is what I say. It's just to be grateful for the life that I live, and understanding that not only is this something that I wanted to do since I set out to do it, but it's something that so many people around the world want to do. I mean, just when you put things in the right perspective, I think you can always get stuck in your emotions and in your flesh, and you can feel some type of way, but I always find myself recentering myself and going back to the lens of Christ, and truly just living in gratitude. And that's when the clarity and the peace and the joy overwhelm me, to the point where nothing's going to disrupt that.
Yeah, you say gratitude. We all live on a continuum between entitlement and gratitude. And gratitude kills entitlement, but entitlement is poison that will kill you.
Yeah.
the moment you start thinking, I deserve this, you owe me this, as opposed to being like, God, thank you. I mean, thank you. And it's also why, so like as a Jags fan, I hate to see you go. Because I'm thinking, who's going to get 5 interceptions? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's a big thing. And yet simultaneously, I can be pumped for you because I can see what God is doing in your life, for your future, for your family. You know what I mean? And you can hold those things, like as a brother in Christ, I'm hoping that there would be a bidding war for you in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then as a selfish Jags fan, we hate to see you go.
Yeah, I think also like you're walking into Charlotte knowing that God has a calling for you in Charlotte beyond football.
Absolutely.
And what's cool is there's a pastor there, I told you before we started, Derwin Gray. He's preached here. He's one of my dearest friends. He played in the NFL, and he pastors a really great church called Transformation Church in the Charlotte area. So it's also good that when guys go from Jacksonville to some other city, most of them, I'm like, hey, I got a buddy that pastors a church there. I think it might be a good fit for you.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
I find that whenever I love hearing you say the gratitude stuff, because for me, like the gratitude humbles you, like you were saying, you know what I mean? And I think when you get to that point and you realize like all of this is because God made me the way he made me, and I'm in the situations I'm in because of all of the things that God has done for me in my life to get me here, and all the things that I've screwed up that he has given me grace over. It not only gives me freedom, but it motivates me to go harder. Right? It motivates me because, like, dadgum, man, if God told me that I want you right here with Joby Martin and Devin Lloyd, then I better be ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I better not let this opportunity pass by, because there could be one person listening that's a huge Devin Lloyd fan that if we don't ask the right questions and Devin doesn't profess his faith, like we miss that opportunity and our scoreboard doesn't click up. You know what I mean? I always talk about the scoreboard at heaven. I'm trying to run the score up. Man.
I love it.
I'm playing offense, no defense. Right? And so I think that humbleness and that gratitude, I know for me, just in the last year and a half, 2 years, has made me go much harder at everything that I think most people would consider a job. I consider like an opportunity, right?
100%.
No doubt.
And dude, way to go, leveraging your platform to point people to Jesus.
That's what it's all about, in my opinion.
But dude, it's hard to realize who you are, because you have woken up with you every day of your life, and you're just like, I'm just Devin. That's just, you know. But the number of, I mean, think about it. Remember when you were a sophomore in high school? Think about whoever your favorite player was. And then if you heard that guy who you respected his game, and you watched his films, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
had his jersey, whatever the thing is, and then you heard that man talk about Jesus, you'd be like, all right, well, maybe I need to check this thing out.
Yeah, my walk would have started a lot earlier.
Right. I mean, like here's what helps. Like I mentioned a couple times, my 20-year-old son played free safety in high school. You're his favorite player just by the way that you play, you know? But then when he also hears you, not just sort of like tip your hat to the man upstairs, but talk explicitly about Jesus Christ and your relationship with him, it almost like gives him a new level of permission to be that bold. And honestly, you see that a lot in the NFL right now.
Yes. Yes.
It's very exciting.
Yes. Yes. And these aren't guys that are like soft guys. So these guys are dogs, man. Like,
oh, we sell a T-shirt at our church called, it says "Saved, not soft." Saved, not soft.
Who was a big difference too?
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yes, yes. Who was your favorite player growing up? Who did you watch?
Favorite player? So when I played receiver, it was Megatron. They used to call me Megatron. I played tight end when I was playing 8-on-8. So I was basically like the inline tight end. I was bigger than I was taller than everybody, and just run down the field. So they would call me Megatron. And Des Bryant, because my dad was a Cowboys fan, and you know he would always throw up the X. He was a dog, like the bigger body receivers, Brandon Marshall, all those guys. And when I started to transition to safety in high school, it was Cam Chancellor. You know, that was my guy. It was the bigger safeties, Earl Thomas, really, that LOB, those type guys. And then as I transitioned to linebacker in college, then that's when, you know, Ray Lewis, Patrick Willis, you know, Luke Kuechly, just, you know, all the best linebackers, Bobby Wagner, you know, those guys were the ones that I looked up to.
God, those are 4 of the most well-prepared players in the history of the NFL. He just named 2, like, you do a deep dive on those 4 guys and how they studied the game, especially that Kuechly cat. Like, watching him, he was sideline to sideline. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. What? So now that you're in the NFL, is there somebody in the NFL that you look at and you go, man, I like their game. Like, wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, I watch a lot of other positions, and I mean, I really got respect for all football players. My position specifically, so Fred grew up in San Diego. Fred Warner, he grew up in San Diego. He went to team down south. I went to Utah. He went to, the team down south. So I've been watching his game forever, even when I was coming out of high school to college, and didn't exactly know where I was gonna, play in college. I looked at his game. He was playing like that nickel type role, or like that nickel type role, the star position in college. And so that's where I thought I was gonna fit in, because I'm transitioning from safety to linebacker. So it was a player in space that kind of got to do things all around the field. So I've been watching his game forever, and even up to this point, he's obviously a great player in this league, and I think future Hall of Famer. So somebody that I've watched a ton of his game. So him, he's really the main one. And then I watch pretty much every linebacker in the league. Honestly, I watch a lot of film.
Do you when you're watching film prepping for a game? Do you turn on their defense just to look, or are you just strictly their offense and watching the offseason?
Yeah, if I'm scouting, or are you saying on the offseason?
No, during the season.
During the season, it's whoever my opponent is. I'm watching all their tape. It is nice whenever it's like you're watching a linebacker or a defense that you got a lot of respect for. So I'll watch their tape and see how they attack the offense. So if it does happen to be like, okay, we're playing Houston and the 49ers played them, I'll go turn on that clip normally first, or it just depends on, what scheme they run to and how it matches up to our scheme and how they attack them. But yeah, it's always fun to watch, the best players play against the opponent that we're about to play, to see, how they did, and, just watch and see what we can do.
I always thought one of the coolest clips that you would see. Do you remember Troy Polamalu?
Yeah.
And did you ever see his mic'd up stuff? Like, the guy prayed the entire game, the whole game.
I didn't know that.
He would hit somebody and he'd go to the sideline and pray for him. He prayed the entire game, and it left an impression. I saw it one time and it left an impression on me. Are there guys like that now? Do you feel like do you find yourself praying during a game? You talked about discernment. You talked about stuff like that.
I talk to God a lot throughout the game, large majority of the game, whether it be praying or whether it just, literally just me talking to him. I do that a lot. I can't necessarily say I've hit somebody and then prayed for them.
That's kind of savage. That's savage right there, yeah.
I've seen clips of Deion Dawkins, just demolishing somebody, and he said, "Hallelujah, Jesus." So I'm like, man, these guys are on a different level. That's but I love that. I love that.
Do you ever wish you would have been, not from the money perspective, because you're money's way better now, but do you ever wish you'd have been born 20 years earlier to play in that NFL as a linebacker?
Well, that would have been a lot more fun, a lot more violent. Obviously, I don't got to worry about laying on the quarterback and it being roughing the passer, and it was a lot more violent, just a lot more physical. Obviously, my position was valued a lot more back then as well. They ran the ball a lot more, opposed to, airing it out as much as they do now. That would have been fun.
Didn't get away with those shallow crosses back then.
No, you gotta just destroy them. Anybody that you've seen trying to cross your face.
That's what we used to watch pregame. So I played in high school in the 90s, right? Yep. Late 80s, early 90s. So the biggest hits of the NFL, it was just targeting after targeting, just missiles, man. Yes. Just like Donovan Darius, just head first, crown to the helmet, to their head. No arm, just flying through the air.
No, at one point, dude, they didn't need to have the ball. Right. If they were running across, you could just level them. And I'm telling you, that made the biggest change in all of football for offenses is the fact that you can run somebody 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, straight across the
past all the
formation,
linebackers that could kill
past
you.
them. Yep.
Hey guys.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the biggest change. I've always thought about that. Like if I'm a Mike backer back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, somebody's crossing, and they don't even see you because they're looking at the quarterback.
Yeah, the only thing is you could get crack blocked back then.
Yeah, man,
that was another part of it too. You got to keep your head on a swivel. Everybody has to keep your head on a swivel. Only thing with that too is like the helmets. I wish the technology was a little bit better back then.
Yeah.
But I mean,
we got ridiculous with the roughing the passer.
Don't get my
stuff.
man fined here now.
I'm not, but good gosh, the amount of times and it doesn't look the same. Like Mahomes gets all kind of penalties that nobody else, we don't get the flag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just a sack. What are you gonna do? And then what will really make me go crazy is so like we get some roughing the passer because it's just a sack. I mean, it's not you tackle people; they're gonna go on the ground, okay? And so then the next time the defensive guy tries to kind of hold up a little bit, and then the quarterback spins out and throws the ball, and you're like, bro, you don't get both.
The fake slide should be a penalty.
Oh man, 100%.
The fake slide should, without a question. I'll tell you, I'm going to tell you my biggest frustration if I was a defensive guy. It can be 3rd and 25, and I can have a defensive holding call.
Oh yeah,
and it's our automatic first down.
Yeah.
Yep. And they could call a defensive holding a holding on everybody, every single play.
Yeah,
it's one of the things that I just don't understand why they haven't changed the football.
It's a tough game for defense. That's why you asked if I had played quarterback, and it's like, well, if I would have known any better. But obviously, I love the position I am, and I know I'm exactly where I need to be. But it's the offensive game. They want to see you guys put up points, and just about every rule in the rule book is to the offense's advantage, and that's just the world we live in. We got to, as defenders, overcome that and find a way to play violent and aggressive. But within the frame of the rules, and it's tough. It's tough to play defense in this league nowadays, regardless.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so 12 hours after your first free agent deal, if you could go back and talk to that 8-on-8 Devin Lloyd playing tight end, what would you tell him?
Whew, man, I would tell him a lot. I would say, the biggest thing is just find Christ. Like really stay in your word. I think that because it all starts with Christ. It all starts with, seeing things from the right lens and hearing his voice and following his path that you have for him, not being governed by your flesh, but walking in the path that he has set for you. So getting on that right path as early as possible, because I was a kid, I always worked hard. I was always disciplined. My love for the game just continued to grow and grow. And so, I'm sure, all that was on the right track, but it was more so not living for my flesh. It was living for God, and getting on that right path as early as possible. And then that's when the grace follows. That's when the alignment of what you desire to do in your life follows. So getting on that right path as early as possible was something I would tell me.
Did the free agent process stir up insecurities in you?
Free agent insecurities?
Yeah. Did it? Yeah.
I mean,
because to look at you, you would think, well, this must be the most secure human ever. Like,
it's just, it's tough when you give the game so much and then you hit free agency and you realize that you're really not valued like that, So I think for me, that's, another chip, that I got to use and fuel to my work. So yeah, that was disheartening, it really was. But then we talk about gratitude and, I just, even these last 12 hours, is consistently aligning myself back to that lens of gratitude and understanding that even in the word, it says God will give you all that you need and more to be generous. And that's exactly what he's done. It's not about the money. It's about the love for the game. And, I'm blessed in a way where I can take care of my family. I can take care of myself, and I can play this game and invest in everything I need to continue to grow and get better at this game. He's already given me that with what he's blessed me with.
That's such a good question too, Joby.
Listen, dude, no matter how successful we are in our 3 realms, we're doing pretty good.
Right.
But dude, you get down to the core of it, and all of us are just like scared little 8th grade boys.
Yeah.
Like just wondering, do we have what it takes?
Well, and man, it's so brutal too, because it's data points, and you go in and your agent's negotiating, and he's giving data points, and they're giving data points back about what you can't do. and you're like, nah, I can do that. And I'm not speaking for, I don't know what happened in yours.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in a normal free agency thing, it's not a fun process.
Yeah. My agent, so from what I understand is, you hear all these teams and they're all interested, because at the combine, agents talk to teams. And so you hear all these things and you have high expectations, and then boom, the first day of free agency comes, and it's completely different than when you expected. So now it's like, man, it was kind of like the draft for me, to where, I hear all these things, top 15, top 10, and then, I go basically the end of the first round. It's like, man, I went first round. Like, I'm grateful. Like, I'm overfilled with gratitude and joy. But at the same time, throughout that whole process, that whole day of waiting, it's like, man, like, what's going on? Like, you get nervous, get anxious, and you constantly just have to just pray and recenter yourself. So yeah, in that regard, it's definitely like, man, it's an uneasy feeling. But when it's all said and done, I was exactly where I was meant to be coming out of the draft, and I believe I'm exactly where I need to be now going forward.
No doubt.
Also, talk about motivation. We talked about that earlier, about where you have to take yourself to. I don't know who the teams were that told your agent at the combine that they were interested, but they got something coming for them next year.
Hey, it's you don't forget these type days and feelings, and all that. I've learned to just channel it into the work. It's going to be an edge for me, and you just channel it into the work.
The good thing is, he just said it. Like, he's exactly where God wants him to be.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to a team that, much like the Jags, is on the uptick, right? And they feel like they got their guy at quarterback, which in this league is just about everything. Yeah. How excited are you to be going to a team that feels like they can make pushes in the next, couple of years?
Absolutely. It's very exciting. That was a priority in free agency is, if things didn't work out in Jacksonville, to go to a team with the winning culture, with the right players, right quarterback, right head coach. That was very important. That's very exciting that I have the opportunity to go to a team that is on the uptick. Like you said, we got our quarterback. We added some pieces on defense, and in addition to the great players that they already had, a young roster, but a really talented, hungry roster. And, something that I'm looking for, really just to getting in that mix with the guys and being the best piece of the puzzle that I can be for those guys around me.
I haven't asked you this, but I know you're going away from Jacksonville, but I want to go backwards for a second. Talk about the losing seasons and what that does to a player. Because, as fans, it's everybody loses their stuff and everybody's yelling about it and, all that kind of stuff. But as a player that's having to go out there and put your body on the line every single week, and you train all year to go. And then there's been years here where y'all have lost, 6, 7 in a row. There's been years where you're in the playoff hunt in late November and you don't make it. Like, talk about the ups and downs of that as a player in the NFL.
Yeah, it's definitely ups and downs. Go 9-8 first 2 years, but completely different feeling 9-8 both of those years. You make the playoffs one year, have high expectations, and go 8-3 the first few games, and then it was like 1-6 or 1-7 to finish the season. So that losing streak wasn't great at all. It didn't feel great, and then you lose on the last game to secure your division and go to the playoffs, and you lose that game. And then next year you go 3-14, and so that whole span from that start after 8-3 all the way up until really last year, the start of last year, it was a trying time. It was more so everybody has to take a deep look in the mirror at themselves and like basically look at themselves and say, am I doing all that I can do to be the best player for this team? It's just a true self-evaluation of yourself and guys coming together. The thing about that team, there's so many guys that love the game that I got so much love for. Man, that team got just so many guys. So it matters to everybody. And, that's when you have guys doing that. And that's ultimately why you see us going from, 4-13 to 13-4, to have that turnaround. You bring the right coaches in and you got the right players. So it's more so just making sure it all comes together. But it was a trying time where it was a lot of self-evaluation and reflection.
I honestly believe that those are the times that if football is your identity, boy, there's been some ugly stories. There's been some ugly stories of guys who, like, everything about them was football, and they go on that type of of streak and how low they get is scary. I've been around it. And you're just kind of looking at him and you're like, this guy's he's not even here right now. Like he has become somebody completely different. I'm sure you've seen that as well, but can you just talk about that during that time, having this faith that you have and how that helped you kind of get through that time?
Absolutely. I mean, and part of it too is you look at, most of those games and, that we lost in that 3-14 year, and they're all one-score games. So it's like, it's not like we're just terrible, and, we're just doing things completely wrong, but we're not finishing. But it was definitely a time to give it to Christ. Like, okay, things aren't going the way we hope, but at the same time, we're not going to lose faith. We're not going to start pointing fingers. We're not going to, be governed by our flesh. Lord, just please continue to show us the way. Continue to guide our thoughts so that we are still together. And that's one thing I give a ton of credit to the team is that the love never faded. Guys still believed in one another. There was a lot of disconnection, I would say, from players to coaches. But players, the love was always there. And so, I give a ton of credit to those guys. And yeah, like I said, just having faith in one another, having faith in Christ. Ultimately, we were able to get out of that.
You talk about it all the time, Joby, about, sometimes you just got to sit in your truck in the driveway and not bring work into the house,
For sure.
And
it looks like they got the right combo right here in Duval now. I mean, with what Bazzelli brings, Trevor playing for a coach that knows how to coach him.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's going to be like the first time Trevor's ever had like the same OC back to back. I mean, some of those kind of things.
Yeah. No, it's been a rough time here in Jacksonville.
Highs and lows, baby. Highs and lows.
I mean, it really has. But, again, I don't know. I've gotten to know a lot of guys in this league, and I've got a soft spot in my heart for them. And I know that sounds crazy because these guys are making millions of dollars, and
but even that, it all comes at once, man.
Golly, dude.
I mean, you can make a lot of money, but you don't get to make that forever. How many dudes have had those huge paydays and they are bankrupt today?
It's a real thing, and you have to make smart decisions with your money.
Correct.
Well, morally bankrupt. I mean, give me that much money at 25 years. I don't know how old you are, but I know at 25 years old, give me that much money and see what happens. Right. It doesn't turn out well for me. Right. I can tell you that right now.
Unless you got Todd. Yeah.
Unless I got Todd, but I didn't back then.
Yeah, but how smart is that, though? Like what you just said is I ain't got this.
Yep.
I play linebacker. I am not a financial analyst. I don't know that I would make the best decision, so I'm going to invite somebody into my life, share with him what my priorities are, and then ask somebody else's help to help me get where I need to be.
Mm-hmm. And I was blessed because Todd is somebody that cares about me. It's not just money. It's not just transactional. It's a real relationship, and he has my best interests, and, I love him. I love his family, and, that's a relationship that I'll carry for the rest of my life. It's more than just transactional. And so, being blessed and having somebody like that come in my life is huge.
I'm going to look right in the camera and tell Wells Fargo to send us a check. Just got a lot of free advertising here.
No doubt.
We're looking for a sponsor.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's go, Wells Fargo.
Going to Carolina, Wells Fargo hub.
That's right. That's right.
That's something good too, man. I mean, because if you like Jacksonville, you like Charlotte. Like very similar in regards to the people. It's really good people.
Yeah, what are you like? Are you like a big city? You mentioned you were overseas. You like to travel?
I do. I enjoy traveling. I wouldn't say I do it a whole lot, but whenever I do it, it's fun.
Yeah. Are you like a city guy? Are you a beach guy? Or what?
I'm more of a homebody, but I definitely enjoy being on the coast. Just somewhere with good warm weather. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a city guy. I'm more so like, a beach guy.
Yeah. Well, Charlotte and Jacksonville are similar in that you just go 20 minutes in any direction outside of the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And you're in the country.
You've been nowhere.
I mean, you just with some good Southern folks. Yeah. I graduated high school in Rock Hill, which is just over the border in South Carolina, south of Charlotte, man. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
If
football disappeared tomorrow, what is Devin Lloyd going to do? Who is Devin Lloyd without football?
I would just pray to God and ask him where he wants me to go next. I would say definitely somebody who loves real estate, I might do that. I don't know. I really haven't thought about that.
Yeah. Well, no,
I'm so invested in the football.
And I don't mean like
Come to Jacksonville, be a campus pastor at 11:22.
Yeah.
I don't even mean financially.
Great.
I mean just the fact that you lose the locker room, you lose like that whole feel of being a football player, which seems to be the dangerous thing for players when they retire. Right? Is they lose that camaraderie. Right? How do you see yourself? And this is way down the road, but how do you see yourself overcoming that, and what are you going to get into and that type of stuff? You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you hit on the head. Definitely getting into church, really diving into fellowship and do what I can to impact those around me, impact the church in a positive way. I'm somebody who always takes care of myself, so I'm definitely gonna stay in shape. That's more of a therapeutic thing for me, but also just taking care of my temple as well is huge and a priority in my life. So I know that would, take up a lot of my time, but then also finding a way to impact. I mean, even if it's, getting into coaching, whatever the case may be, helping the next generation. And then, working, I know at some point, an opportunity would present itself. So, but like I said, I haven't thought about any of that, but that would be what I would do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can have a plan B and play at that level.
Nah, man, the key is, Jesus said, don't worry about tomorrow. I mean, you should plan for the future in regards to finances and all that kind of stuff. But the best advice in the whole Bible is John 2:5. In John chapter 2, it's a wedding at Cana. They run out of wine. Mary comes to Jesus. Is like, son, they're out of wine. He goes, what's this got to do with me? My time has not yet come. She gets the servants together. Jesus is standing right there. And this is what John 2:5 says. Do whatever he tells you to do. If you do that, you're always going to be on the right path. If you just do whatever he tells you to do. And obviously right now he's telling you, go play football for the Carolina Panthers. And then you'll do that, as until he tells you to do something else.
Absolutely.
But you don't know.
I love what you told Brock Purdy about, when Brock asked you, like, how do I let my faith kind of show through this thing? What did you kind of...
Well, Brock, everybody knows he's a believer, and he was wondering about, do I have to share the gospel every time there's a microphone in my face? And I was like, listen, first of all, be the best football player you can be. Live a life of character, live a life of integrity, and you just be the best football player you can be. Love Jesus, love your wife. They got a new baby, be a great dad. And then this is back to John 2:5, when you get the opportunity to point people to Jesus, of course you need to do that. But you don't have to feel this pressure like you're a professional preacher. You're a professional football player. And so honor God in the way you play football. Do that like T-Bell goes to church here. He's the perfect example. Look at him. In his highs and in his lows, all he ever did, he pointed people to Jesus. But he did his absolute best to do the best at whatever he was doing. Now he's testifying in front of Congress, trying to save children's lives that are caught up in human trafficking. And what is he doing? He's just doing the next thing that God has given him an opportunity to do. Same thing for you, man. Should you study your Bible? You better believe it, but you better study film too, because God has put you on this planet right now to be a linebacker in the NFL. And so you be the best you can be. The reality is the better linebacker you are, the more eyes are on you and the more people you can point to Jesus when you get that opportunity.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's a message that everybody listening can take. I did. When you said it to Brock, that was one of those light bulb moments, one of the 1,000 that I've had off of things that you've said on this podcast. But, for me, for me, it was one of those light bulbs of like, okay, well, God gave me these jobs. Like the way that I can show God is through the diligence that I work with and the faithfulness that I work with. I don't have to worry about doing his job. It's a very freeing thought for sure.
And pray for the opportunity to open your mouth and talk about the Lord. And that's a prayer God wants to answer. And Acts 1:8 says, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you and you will be my witnesses. Yep. So when you try to manufacture it, we've all tried to do this. It doesn't go good.
Yeah.
But that time, the Spirit of the Lord is like,
absolutely.
Say something, do something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've definitely, I mean, like you said, that's just, being authentic too. It's like, okay, this feels right.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 questions, and we'll wrap this up. What is Charlotte getting as a resident and community leader? And what is Charlotte getting what are the Panthers and the fans getting as a football player?
Yeah. I would say Charlotte as a person in the community, as just, a selfless person. I hate to talk about myself, but just somebody that cares, and ultimately wants to do right. My neighbors and anybody around me will attest to that. That just somebody who wants to live in a manner that pleases God, and however that looks, whether it's impacting the next generation or just being a kind soul to people that I see. Just trying to be myself authentically, and somebody that, like I said, somebody that cares. On the football field, somebody that loves this game, that is passionate about this game, that is committed and determined to getting better every day, and to be my absolute best for those around me, for my team. A leader in the sense of somebody that's going to put his best foot forward and do the right thing every day. Really, just everything is going to try to be done the right way, and ultimately, just somebody that's going to get 1% better every day. I think that's really what it is. It's living in the moment, not worrying about tomorrow, but truly, being so focused on each day and just stacking great days, elite days. And whenever you have a day that's not as good as the last, then find a way to make it the best day that you've ever had. Being somebody that's just so present in the moment to a point where you stack those and you look back and it's like, man, had a great month, had a great year, had a great season. So,
wait, do we know the number we're wearing at Charlotte yet?
I don't yet.
No.
I know a number I'm hoping to get, so we'll see.
All right, because we got to buy some jerseys, both our kids.
100%, man.
Yeah, man. Awesome having you on. And I know you're so busy right now, and this is a big time in your life, so I appreciate you taking the time. I think this has been a cool, it's cool to look into this world of free agency with somebody who literally just went through it.
I think that's what's unique about this thing, Built for More.
Yeah.
But you're not on SportsCenter. We're not going to ask all the same questions that SVP is going to ask, about X's and O's. And the fans like me want to know, the human questions that the guys that we're cheering on, what's actually going on in between those ears and in your heart, And honestly, man, it would have made a ton of sense if you'd have said, listen, I got a lot going on. I can't show up at 9 o'clock in the morning the day that I'm flying to my new city and all that. But thanks for being here. And God's been honored, and people will be pointing to him, man. So way to go.
And now you got a problem. You got another team you got to go full for.
I know, I will. Yeah, I watch football differently now because I hardly watch teams. I watch people. You know what I mean? Because I know these guys.
Yeah.
So
well, Devin, best of luck to you, man. Don't be a stranger.
No doubt.
Don't be a stranger. Let's do this. Run this back if you're game.
I would love that.
Yeah, man. And obviously a huge fan. Built for More podcasts. Denny Thompson, Pastor Joby Martin, Devin Lloyd. Go follow us at Built for More Pod. We appreciate the support, and we'll talk to you soon.